All right, good morning. So I just finished my CFL 2025 project. Those final playoff and Grey Cup games can be seen on the channel. I seeded them cross division, best worst at best for every round. So again, the West finals probably should be all the Western teams. The East finals should have been Eastern teams, but I just um and got the Grey Cup. Um that's how I seeded those for my project. But this video is not about that. It is about the giant tome of 600 pages of history. So I've had somebody ask, how could they how could they get this PDF, printed ultimately is what the question was. And I told them the only way I could get it printed. So it's in, I think, I want to say 11 or 12, 13 volumes. So every sport has its own PDF. So Rodney, literally, all the baseball, like baseball, NL, baseball, AL, baseball, Negro leagues, NFL, NBA. So all of those have their own PDF book, ebook, so to speak. And again, by the way, they're all completely free. Again, everybody should thank Rodney for this amazing work, but also it's completely free. And you can click the download and grab any one you want. The thing is, I can't put them together in one book like on Lulu, for people if they wanted to purchase a really nice copy of the whole tome. Even if I just put it up private and sold it only for cost of printing, and then I could send people a link who are interested, or they could just buy it for cost, no profit to me, and they would pay the cost of it plus their shipping, and people could get it from Lulu in a nice giant volume. But it's 13 different volumes, and so I can't do that unless it's all together in one volume. So what I did was I took them all. So I go to Office Depot, and you can put all the volumes together, and they're online. Hit the button and it'll put them all together in one. It'll put them all together in one giant tome, and then you can choose whether you want to print it, black and white, color, what kind of paper. And then, of course, you can choose what kind of binding you want. And you can also choose whether you want it front and back or single page. So if you do single page, you're looking at 600 pages. I did front and back, 330 pages. And I just did plain paper, black and white, and told them to hole punch it. And I put it in a three ring binder. All told, it cost me about $80, right? Including tax and the three ring binder. I think it was like $80. But it was worth it to have this 13 volumes of the entire history. That's Canadian football in its entire history, American football in its entire history, including, again, the AFL, the AAFC, all kinds of leagues, Continental League. It is truly remarkable. Hockey, baseball, and basketball. So five sports, the big five, and basically their entire history for what that's worth. So, is it worth it? Well, if you're into, 'cause the great thing about it not being one giant tome is, let's say all you care about is hockey, you can just print those hockey PDFs out and put them in one volume, or in multiple volumes, right? So in a way, it's best that they are broken down, because there'll be people who just don't care about American football. There'll be people who just don't care about baseball. They don't want to print out, you know, 100 pages of baseball history. So it's best that they are in individual tomes, right? Individual volumes. So I wouldn't ask Rodney, hey, dude, put all these together in one big volume and I'll print them out. I'll put them on Lulu so people can buy them for cost. I would not ask Rodney to do that, because I think there's most sports fans, probably there's a couple of sports they really would love to have all this, but they don't really care about, the Canadian game, or they don't care about hockey or whatever. So, um, but yeah, I just go to officedepot.com. Everything's automated. You can select everything paper, and then of course they can mail it to you. They can deliver it to you, mail it to you, or you can pick it up at your local Office Max, Office Depot, or your favorite Staples, or whoever in your area can do print on demand stuff. So, all right, that's to answer that question. Thanks a lot, everybody. And so upcoming, for those who don't know, it was a very difficult weekend. My mother passed away. We were anticipating she had been, but it was a surprise. We didn't anticipate it that quickly. That both my parents have passed away in the last year. Um, so a tough year. But to be honest, they will now rest in peace. They were both ill. They both had their battles, and so once you get to my age, you get into your late 50s and 60s. Anyone who with family, goes through this. So anyway, so that kind of put a little bit of a hamper on things, as it's been a weekend of thoughtful reflection, etc. So able, thanks to John, he got those CFL teams to me, and I was able to play out those games this morning. So that was fantastic. I will also, for those who don't know, my Patriot Football League's still going well. I'm in my 27th season of the Patriot Football League. That is literally the longest career-based league I've ever had in any tabletop, including campaigns in role-playing growing up, and campaigns there locally when we were running long campaigns. I've never had 27 seasons or 27 campaigns in one career league before. I had 24 in a Madden game once, which was, that's digital, so you can get, I've had 20 something with my 1970 first pen and paper league. I set it in 1970, and I think I wrapped it up in 1990 and stopped playing that. Uh, so this has been the most successful career sports league I've ever had. Um, it spanned multiple games, but it started with pen and paper football. Um, and the 27th season is wrapping up in pen and paper football. And from here out, my Patriot Football League will continue on using pen and paper football. So I will be expanding the league. So it was as high as 12 teams at its launch in 2019. I think in 29. So it's also the oldest campaign I've ever had, career-based gaming I've ever had, year-wise, actual real time. We started that, I want to say, in late 2019. And so I'm in my fifth year, sixth year of running the Patriot Football League. Um, Still have two friends that own teams in that. Dell still owns the Columbia Coolers, which can be seen here in this amazing mug that he made for me a long time ago. And John Turnbull's team, Dayton Triangles, are still two friends that still own teams in that. Um, but we have the six founding teams are still in the league. But in 28, I'm probably going to expand the league either to 12 or 16 teams. If I go to 16, which would be the biggest league that has a scheduler in it for pen and paper football, which is what I'd like to do, the biggest league that has a scheduler built in. Um, as I continue on with that league in pen and paper football, the game that inspired me to come back to tabletop gaming, um, is where Patriot Football League is going to find itself for the next foreseeable future for my career football league, my big career football league. But I'm going to probably expand it to the biggest career football league I've ever had. The biggest I've run in the past has been 12 league teams. Then it would come down. I whittled it down to 10, and then as teams folded, I think we got to 8. And then at some point during Grid Zone, we got down to I think 7 or 8 teams. And then when I brought it back a couple of years ago, I wanted it to be the six most successful franchises, ultimately the founding franchises, most successful founding franchises. And that's what I've been doing for the last 8 years of the league. So I think 6 or 8 years I have been running Patriot Football League with the six founding franchises. So now I'm going to end up expanding that, I think, to the biggest league I've ever had. And I'll play full schedules. So those will be 14 or 16 game schedules with 16 team league. And that's the future of the Patriot Football League, which I will be running some of those games on the channel. I'm using some house tweaks. So all gameplay will be played with league play. Um, except for the championship, I'll play that with a full simulator of pen and paper football. But league play will all happen, or all season play will happen with league play. I will track box scores with highlights, statistics. I have finished 27 on Friday. I think it was Friday morning, Friday night. I finished the 27th. I finished the 27th season, but I have the championship game to play. and I was going to do that in the full simulator. But I'm also using some house tweaks for injuries, weather, uh, uh, postseason position effects from trades, free agent losses, retirements, whatever. And I do that. That stuff's all automated. So those are things I've added to the pen and paper football raw engine for my career play stuff. The actual football simulator, when I play it, it'll be basically rules as written, but I use a cheat sheet, so I don't have to sit and flip through the book to get to the formulas. Anyway, I will probably play the 27th Patriot Football League Bowl in its entirety on the channel using the pen and paper football complete football game engine. And stay tuned for that. I won't spoil who's made it to the 27th bowl, but what an amazing season. So my 27th campaign was amazing. And we have two teams that should make for a brilliant championship. So stay tuned for that. All right. Everybody out there, have a wonderful week. All right. Bye-bye.